Of University School's three founders, W. Bolton was probably the most influential of the three gentlemen. He was a man of great dignity and clearly the leading light of those three founders.
Mr. Bolton began his adult life at Cambridge as a scholar and an athlete.
His time at Cambridge was probably highlighted by his athletic prowess.
During his time as a student, he was a consummate athlete and won many trophies for running and cycling. He also held the British record for an amateur in the 1,000-yard race. William Bolton was accomplished in boxing, rugby, soccer, long-distance swimming, and tennis. He was a Cambridge Blue and went on to become president of the Cambridge University Athletic Club. On his 25th birthday, he walked 65 miles in 24 hours. After graduating from Cambridge with both a bachelor and master's degree, he trained as a minister and was later ordained by the Bishop of Lichfield. After serving briefly as a priest and curate in England, Reverend Bolton took the long journey to Canada, settling first as a missionary in the prairies. While at his post in Saskatchewan, he had occasion to travel to the west coast and spent some time in the bustling port of Esquimalt. In 1887, Reverend Bolton moved to Esquimalt, where he was appointed rector of St. Paul's Anglican Church. Not long after his arrival, he took over the small parish boys' school, which he continued to lead until 1890. Before long, William Bolton became known and respected as a community leader and remained for many years a pillar of the local community. In 1890, Bolton left Esquimalt and for nearly a decade lived in San Francisco, where he taught and worked in a number of ministry assignments. In addition to Bolton's work as a minister and teacher, he continued to put his renowned athleticism to the test. In 1894 and 1896, Bolton led ambitious surveying expeditions through the wilderness of Vancouver Island. He also traversed the entire length of the Yukon Territory to the Bering Sea in a flat-bottomed boat. These expeditions not only furthered his renown as a man of great fortitude, but also resulted in the establishment of important ecological reserves. Perhaps the most famous, Strathcona Provincial Park, was formally established on a third expedition taken in 1910. The maps that Bolton drew of Vancouver Island were printed in the local newspaper. Many of the names he gave to sites in these uncharted regions remain the official names to this day. Once back in Victoria, Bolton established a school for young boys, which he operated out of his home on Belcher Avenue from 1898 until 1906.
In 1906, it was J.C. Barnacle and W. Bolton who founded University School. And these two gentlemen were joined a couple of years later by R.V. Harvey.
After the founding of University School, William Bolton took on a supporting role to his co-founder, J.C. Barnacle, who became the first headmaster. However, during these first formative years, Bolton's influence on the new school was substantial. He was warden of University School and presided over many school functions in this capacity. He also took on the teaching of the younger students. During this time, he did not curb his athletic ambitions, continuing his journeys abroad and his forays into the local wilderness. He inspired sportsmanship and a hunger for a variety of interests in his students. He also remained active in the larger Victoria community and wrote articles for the province newspaper. In 1920, Mr. Bolton decided to retire from his position at University School for reasons of health. He moved to New Zealand, taking up work for the local government. Sometime after his arrival in Auckland, he answered a request for a school teacher from the tiny island of Niue to the north of New Zealand. He remained on Niue for 3 years as a teacher, minister, and community leader. In 1925, Mr. Bolton returned from the South Pacific to take over as headmaster of University School. At this time, his son, Gerard Bolton, was the bursar of the school, and the two men would come to wield great influence over the school for some years hence. In 1928, Bolton again retired from University School and returned to the South Pacific, this time to Tahiti, where he worked for the French government. Years later, while still in Tahiti, William Bolton celebrated his 85th birthday with a walk of some 40 miles, apparently taking 15 hours to complete.
On July the 28th, 1946, W. Bolton died in Tahiti at the age of 88. Mr. Bolton was the most influential founder of University School. He implanted his values: gentlemanly conduct, good manners, good sportsmanship, and athletic ability. It was not just his values, but the energy, enthusiasm, keen mind, and vigorous participation in a diverse array of interests that made Mr. Bolton unforgettable.